guys, good morning. It is 7 a.m. Coffee with Shanda. I'm a few minutes late this morning because I was taking my dog out, which is so funny, but it's the truth. I was doing a VIP day with a client yesterday, and something came up that I think would support all of you guys. And I actually prepared for this yesterday because I thought, a lot of us are making offers, or we have these visions to, grow our companies. But at the end of the day, it still seems to be hard. It's like, why do you set goals and then for some reason you don't keep the consistency up? Like your kid gets sick, or you have a fight with someone you love, or blah 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 blah. It just keeps going on. It just ends up where you hire someone that ends up being a nightmare, and you've got to get rid of them or whatever. You know what I mean? There's always some crazy moment that throws you off your path. But what makes it easier to deal with those moments is when you have a message that lands, when you're making offers that people really want. And this was a moment that I had with a client that has been with me for a while, by the way. It's not like she hasn't been with me for a super long time. But she, let me put it this way, see if I can be as real as possible here. I hate giving presentations on Coffee with Shanda, right? Let's just have a real conversation. It's when, how sometimes you can watch somebody who it looks like they just explode, or it looks like, they just have everything working inside their business. And then you see other people who just start their business, and you hear them on success stories of they did, $400,000 in a year in their first year of starting a company. There's stories like this, right? Have you guys heard these stories? You've heard you've seen these success stories that are just wild, and people just rocket coming out of the gates. And then you see your own business, and you're looking at you're working, you're putting in a lot of effort, but yet sometimes it just doesn't take the way it's supposed to take, or you run into that rocky road of inconsistency. And the truth is it has so much to do with what you're selling. So let me ask you a question. If you were to guess, and I want your participation here, if you were to guess, do you think you sell let's just take this, I probably have to choose an industry. Let's just take the coaching industry. If you were hiring a coach, do you want to know how they actually get you to a result? Or do you want to know that they can get you the result? Which one is more important to you? Which one do you think is more important to you? Is it how they actually deliver the result to you? Or if you were hiring a coach, do you want to know how they deliver the result to you, or do you want to know if they can actually deliver the result to you? Okay, Angie on Instagram, that they can get the result. Okay, Katie, get the result. Hi, Roddy from Scotland. You guys on Facebook. Okay, you want to know how they can get the result. You want to know how they can do it. Not the how, but the certainty. Okay, great. But here's what I find. You guys are right. But I proposed the question in a way that you thought about what's more important to me, because you had to make a choice. But when I let people ask me questions about working with me, they will literally ask me questions about the how all the time. Right? And that if you're asking about the how, you are actually in fear of it not working for you, usually because you've let yourself down in the past. Now let's go back to my client. My client was basically selling creativity, which is her how, right? It's her how. And I can tell you, it's taken me years to get her to take off a week a month. When I started with her, I remember her second year with me, she ended up in the hospital with adrenal fatigue twice, on an IV, all of that. And she was like, oh my gosh, and you would think at that point that you would believe that maybe the way you're growing a business isn't working. But that's the how as well. And so what happens is we spend so much time blaming the how or selling the how, like how we accomplish things. Like I have a stylist, Carla. Her name's Carla Perea. You probably always find her on our comments somewhere because she gets up and watches all the time. And she's a really good friend of mine. And she's also my stylist. If do you really care about how she gets your clothes or your look down, or how she bargain shops, or gets gets clothes from trunk shows? Do you really care how? No, but you'll ask her how all the time, right? You'll ask her like, how much does it cost? How do you deliver this? How do we work together? And I get this all the time. People ask me, how do you grow businesses? How will you teach me how to build a sales team? How will you teach me how to build a following and an audience? And so people actually, when they ask how all the time, and I do this like at least a couple times a month to groups of people. I'll say, you can ask me any question you want about your business. Think about the thing that you need to know will work for you. And every question, I'm not even kidding, like every question will not be about the result. Not one person will ask me, Shanda, my vision is to earn $200,000 a year this year. My question to you is, do you think I can do that working with you? Or my vision is to pay off, $80,000 in credit card debt, like working with you or working in your program. Would that be possible? The answer is yes, right? And so, they don't ask me those questions. What they ask me is, well, I got a full-time job. I got a full-time job. Is it possible that I could do your program with full-time job? The answer is yes. But they're like, then they'll ask you, well, how? How do you time manage like having a full-time job and like running a business? So they're always in the how. And and maybe you can even recognize like frustration that you had yesterday or frustration that you've had for the last couple of weeks. If you think about the frustration you've had, it's actually in the how. And so it's really frustrating because when successful people say, don't worry about the how, it's like, are you serious? Like that, the how is still something I have to figure out. But that's actually not where to put your focus. I would say if you were to say, why have I been able to scale through every moment that I haven't known the how, or so many moments when I felt really incapable? And my clients as well. The clients that have really soared quickly are always the ones that can figure out the piece that I'm about to talk to you about right now, which is it really isn't about the how. And I've even seen people post online. I hate these coaches that tell you that it's not about the how and figure out the money. And it's like, they're not getting it because it isn't about the how. It's actually the one thing that you need to really focus on is the what. And it's, what is it that you want? What is the result that you want? And when you actually believe that you can reach that result, then what happens is you soar. So great, Shanda. Woohoo, good idea, Shanda. But the problem is I don't believe in that. It's like, okay, so here's how you hack the system. Choose a goal in front of you that you actually can see. So I often, obviously, because I teach business coaching, often the conversations are about money. And so when you're looking at growing your business monetarily, you can look at, well, if I charged $1,000 a month or $500 a month or whatever for a membership or a high-end membership or a product or a retainer or whatever, right? And I wanted to make, $10,000 a month, then I would have to get 10 clients at $1,000, $997 a month, and then that's palatable, right? It's like, and then I'd be making the $10,000 a month. If you think like that, and I'm telling you, this might sound really logical, but people don't do this. They actually don't sit down with a piece of paper and pen and really figure that out, and then figure out how many people do I have to talk to? What's my close ratio? If I talk to 5 people and 1 person closes, now I know in order to do that, I need to talk to, 50 people to be able to earn $10,000 a month. See, that's doable. Like when you start to think like that, you're like, I can talk to 50 people. Like I could probably talk to 50 people in a month, which means you could probably be earning that in a month if you thought like that. And so often people are like, they've got this goal like $10,000 a month or $100,000 a month or $50,000 a month. Feels like this goal that's so far away that you've never hit before. But it's not as far as you think if you just do this one thing. And where you put your mind needs to be on what do you want. And that what do you want, if you haven't grown the confidence in yourself and the certainty internally in yourself, then what happens is your belief is low. And when your belief is low, that's when procrastination comes in. That's when inconsistency comes in. That's when moments that can throw you off come in because you're a little unsure anyway. I would also even be willing to go as far as to say you kind of attract drama into your life when you're not really sure about if you can actually hit the goal. And so I'm gonna challenge you today. I use Brendan Burchard's high performance planner, which is great, but it's not what you have to use to be able to succeed. But the reason why I like it is because it says, what's today's message to myself? And by the way, I did this last night. God is organizing the win. That's my message to myself. So basically, instead of me saying, let go, surrender, whatever, all these words that mean really nothing to me, tell me how to surrender. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Like, I understand surrender. I do it all the time. But when someone tells you to surrender and you're really trying to work hard, it feels like this untouchable thing. But for me to have faith that God is organizing the win, I can actually grab onto that and trust. And then that causes me to surrender. I like how it's got your top 3 goals or priorities of the day. I've got those down. Tasks that must be completed and done today. I got those 3 things done. And then a person I need to lead or connect with today and how to do it well, right? And so I love it because it also asks questions about like who really needs you to be on your A game today. Why am I telling you this? Well, because so many people like if I was just starting my business and cash flow was a thing, like my top priority today would be talking to 50 people and talking to 50 people and making an offer of $1,000 a month. And so today it might be, how do I actually talk to 15? I mean, if you were working underneath my husband and he was teaching you sales, he would be running you all day long to be talking to enough people. And what happens is that, and enough people are everywhere. If you get out of your damn phones and look up and talk to people, you're going to find that there are many people that you can make offers to. There's even friends that you know. However, if you have a bad reputation with them of being flaky, or here's another piece I'm going to show. This is a gold nugget. If you are someone who lets everybody see your frustrations and your overwhelm, and you even talk about overwhelm with people that you have no credibility. Let that sink in for a second. You actually will lose your credibility with the people that you love, with your friends, with your spouses, with people around you. If you talk about being overwhelmed and frustrated a lot, then what happens is you lose credibility because just let me put it another way. If you were going to hire somebody to do your coaching for you, say you were going to hire me, and say I was like, oh my God, I'm like so overwhelmed. And I've like got a million things to do. And like, I'm sorry that I didn't get back to you because I was so busy. Like, I'm like over here just trying to figure out you would be like, I'm not hiring that coach. You know what I mean? And so what happens is when you talk like that with your peers and people around you, so many of your peers would actually hire you if you didn't show up that way. See, you demote your authority, and the minute you demote your authority, then what happens is, people don't, even if you have what they want, they won't hire you. And so let me give you another angle of that. So what do you do if you're like imploding and you're overwhelmed? You got to manage your mind. You got to watch 7 a.m. Coffees with Shanda. You got to find good podcasts that like fire you up. Don't find the podcast that gets you into survival, right? Like, I'm not attracted to the podcast that's going to talk about body breakdown. I'm going to be attracted to the podcast that's going to talk to me. And even if I had body breakdown, right? I'm a really big fan on coaching versus therapy. I know there's a place for therapy, but I have more therapists than I want to count that work with that I coach. And I've heard time and time again the exact same thing, which is if they hear another person complain, they seriously feel like they're gonna like pull their head off, right? And it's like, so I don't have a huge faith in that. And that's just me. I'm just being really honest with you. I know there's a place for therapy. I know that. But I'm a big fan on, if you want to move out of something, a really good place to go, if you're healthy and you can, it's like, this is a self-imposed thing. I'm not talking about PTSD. I'm not talking about stuff like that, right? I'm talking about everything's working, but you can't seem to get yourself to work. Then I'm a huge fan on coaching. And so what is influencing your mind is really critical. So find things that motivate you to be better. Who is it? Like Sean Goggin, is that his name? That Jesse Itzler did the whole like living with a seal with. Ed Millett. You can look at our podcast. We haven't launched it yet, but there's lots of really great podcasts on She's Driven. So you can carry me in your car or go for a run. Obviously 7 a.m. coffees with Shanda. But next week we're dark, so that everybody remembers that. Like next week is flex week, so I don't do coffees with Shanda the last week of the month. But and this is circling back around to my client who I started this live with. If you can shift like this, then you're going to find that everything starts to up level. So now let me go back and pick up the original story that I did an open loop on. And the original story that I did an open loop on was starting this live about my client that I was doing a VIP day with, and she was selling creativity. And she's an artist, and she paints, and she teaches people creativity. And I'm trying to get her to do flex time for years now, ending up in the hospital, all these things. And at the end of the day, it had nothing to do with her business. It had to do with the fact that this woman mentally just couldn't take a break. Like she just worked all the time. And even when she wasn't working, it still felt like she had a million things on her to-do list to get done as a mom and a wife and a friend. And so what she's realized is she needs solitude, right? She needs to be by herself, and she needs some solitude every month by herself without anything else, like not the in-laws in town, not my friends staying with me. She needs solitude, which I can relate to. Can any of you guys relate to that? Where it's like sometimes you just need a good book and you need to not be around anybody. You need the kids to not be around you. You need your friends, not your partners, whatever. You just need people to like not like, it's like this on my flex time. And like, I don't even like making appointments on my flex time, because I feel like if somebody books me for an appointment, even a friend, it actually feels some months like that's too much. Like it's like, and this is what I'll say to them. You know what, on my flex week, I really prefer not to create an appointment where we have to meet at a restaurant or have to meet for breakfast, even though I love, but it feels like I have to, right? It doesn't feel like I get to do it. It feels like I have to do it on some months. And I'll say, would it be okay if I just text you, and if you're available, we can meet? And I've never had a friend say no, and then it keeps the energy flowing for me. So now my friend, I'll go back to myself. Sorry, I'm jumping around, you guys. My flex time pops so much creativity out of me that I feel a pull to work, like I want to work, right? And that pull to work that makes me want to work is actually creativity. Well, my client who teaches creativity, she is selling often. She is selling the how. Like how she gets them to where they want to be is creativity. But really, that's not who she is or what that's what she does. It's how she does it. But it's really not what she should be selling. When you feel creativity, you feel happiness. You feel very inspired. Like on my flex week, if you guys just see me on my flex week, I'm literally like this. Like, I'm not kidding you. I want to like grab a video and like start videoing. I'm like fired up to literally, start working. And it's like the best like pocket coaching and, emails, and like the best stuff comes out of me on my flex week because I've got no appointments and I've got nothing pulling on my agenda. And so I can just flow, and I love it. But like my client, for all these years, I'm like, we kept saying, it's really not creativity. It's really not creativity. Like it is creativity, but it's like, so like she just wouldn't release that next step. And then finally, like I saw it and I was like, you're actually selling inspiration. And so I want to say to you guys, Like if you're looking to, like, I don't want you to just create a business. I want you to create a legacy. Like that's what we're doing at the Zone event this year. We're creating a legacy, right? And there's a very big difference between making money and creating a legacy. A legacy actually accesses freedom. Building a business is a lot of work. And if you want to access freedom, you need to find what you're really selling. And what you're really selling is not how you do it. And I guarantee you, I see this all the time, even in our masterminds, and I coach it all the time. It's like I say to people, I don't know why you're so hardwired in a worthiness conversation to have to sell your content or how you deliver something. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Like, why do you watch like a Rachel Hollis? You watch her because you're inspired by her. Why do you watch me? You watch me because I get in your mind and tweak your mind so that you can release and have a great day. Why do you watch Joel Osteen, or why do I watch TD Jakes? Because I'm so fired up after a TD Jakes. I don't actually love his podcast, but I love the YouTube videos of TD Jakes. When I listen to his YouTube videos, I'm like on fire. Like you'll always know if I watch TD Jakes the night before, because I'm like, I show up here and I'm like, I've got like a 5-day high off one video, And so it's like you when you look at that, it's like, yeah, TD Jakes is actually selling God, right? He's 100% selling God. But it's like, when you look at like how he does it through teaching you discipline. He does it through teaching you how to not hesitate. He does it through teaching you how to not judge, right? So it's like, when you look at what you're selling, make sure that the vehicle that you're working on, the vehicle that you're speaking out there in the world, is actually the carrier. It's kind of like turmeric. Like turmeric does nothing for you unless you have pepper or a carrier mixed with turmeric, and then it goes into your bloodstream. You can have the absolute best intention. You can work super hard and like be like a workaholic and not get ahead. And it's because the thing that you're selling is not the real thing that you're selling often. So stop selling how. Just ask yourself, do I find myself in a conversation of explaining how I do this? You don't have to tell, literally, you do not have to tell anybody how you do anything. And believe it or not, if you do the other piece of what you're actually really selling well, then people will just move forward. They'll pull out their credit cards and they'll invest. So what I'm not trying to do is tell you how to scam people or how to get past people's minds. I'm not teaching you NLP. I'm not teaching you any of that crap. I'm actually teaching you how to really message yourself so you build a legacy that really works. So my client sells inspiration. We reformed all of her work yesterday around her retreats. Instead of being creativity retreats and daily creativity challenges and things like that, it's how she does it. We changed them to things like the inspired life, and it went on. But my point is, I hope this helps. Like, I know I'm not coaching some of you guys, so we're not in there working on it. It is a great opportunity if you want to go to the Zone event. I actually put that in the description of Facebook, but you guys on Instagram, you can actually search. I think it might be in my bio on Instagram. You can look in my bio on Instagram and see the link to the Zone event. I'm going to highly recommend that you come, because Coffees with Shanda are amazing. I think they're amazing. I give you as much as I can. But, to be able to be with me for 3 days, what you won't find a stage filled with multiple speaker after speaker after speaker spinning your mind. You'll actually find me teaching for 3 days. And for 3 days, I'll teach you how to grow a business that creates a legacy. I will teach you how to be mentally strong enough so that overwhelm and these things don't kick in and take you out. I'll teach you to know what to focus on so that you have less things to focus on, so the big levers go up. And really what I'm really good at is creating cash flow. So I'm credible at creating cash flow. So if that's something that you really want, go get a ticket. They're super inexpensive right now, but they always go up to $1,000 plus. And they go up fast. And so go get a Zone event ticket. I'll see you at the Zone events end of September 22nd, 23rd, and 24th in Palm Springs. I love it there that time of year. You'll see all of us hanging out after the event as well, around property and getting to know each other. And so it's just a really great event. And if you're a single mom or military wife, on day 0, the day before we actually do the event, which is September 21st, I'm going to do a private event just for single moms and military wives. So if you go get a zone ticket right now, thezoneevent.com, when you check out, there'll be a box. Click if you're a single mom or you're a military wife, and then I'll do a private event just for you guys to show you how to get a leg up in that area because things are different for you. Okay, that's it. I'm super excited. I will see you actually, I won't see you tomorrow morning. Chris Smith will be on, not Instagram, he'll be on our HeartCore Business page on Facebook, and he'll be streaming live and teaching you about storytelling tomorrow. So seriously, he's every Thursday. So I recommend if you want to get better at speaking, you want to get better at storytelling, you want to get better at that type of stuff, then it's a great opportunity to be on Coffee with Shanda on Thursday, tomorrow. All right, you guys, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.